so that you know who is talking at any given moment. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening. My name is Sophie Paris, and I am the director of the Institute for Global Education and the director of Porter's Global at Miss Porter's School here in Farmington, Connecticut in the US. And we are hosting this seminar in collaboration with News Decoder, which is a global educational news service for young people. I'd like to introduce you to our Global Seminar Series team. And as I introduce the team, if you all could just unmute yourselves and say a quick hello. Sam On, who's the director of our Institute for Technology, Innovation, Entrepreneurship.
Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here and giving a keynote today.
And Leslie Skandarian, who's director of 12th grade programs at Porter's.
Hi, everyone. Good to see so many faces that I know.
And our two global seminar fellows who are in 12th grade at Miss Porter's School. Amy.
Hi, looking forward to the next 4 weeks with you guys.
And Ella.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ella, and it's really nice to see you all.
So we are so excited to have you join us for this seminar series on social media. We plan to do a deep dive into everything from the infrastructure and business models of the popular platforms many of you use, like TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, to learn more about the impact social media has on societies around the world, as well as how using social media can have an impact on us, especially as girls and women. We hope that you will gain a better understanding of how you, as an individual, can make certain choices that will allow for a healthier relationship with TikTok or Snapchat. And beyond that, that you can actually use social media as a tool for change and for betterment of our world. So maybe after the next 4 weeks, you will even come up with a brand new social media platform that better aligns with your values, or maybe you will choose to go on a social media fast, or maybe you will create the next viral video that positively represents girls and the power of women globally. So the sky is the limit, and we can't wait to begin this journey with you. So let's get started. If you can, please keep your videos on. I understand that sometimes that takes up a lot of bandwidth on your internet, and if it's not feasible, that's okay. But particularly when you go into smaller breakout groups, please turn your videos on so that you can connect face-to-face with each other and put names to faces and faces to names. And feel free to use the chat function to start conversations and ask questions. If you want to take any screenshots or selfies or share any part of this experience on social media, please be sure to tag @Porters Global so that we can highlight your posts over the next 4 weeks. And maybe you all can come up with a hashtag that everyone can use as well. But I'll leave that up to you to discuss in the chat or after this session via Slack. Speaking of Slack, if you had any problems joining Slack, please send me an email at sparis@missporters.org, and I can work with Sam to get you onto it. It's important that you join Slack, as that's going to be our means of communication moving forward rather than email. All right, I will pass it off to you, Sam.
All right, thank you, Sophie. We'll take a very quick poll. It shouldn't take you more than maybe a couple minutes. So 5 questions, and I just opened up the poll. And this is anonymous. So question number 1 is, which social media app do you use? And you could select as many as you want. Question number 2 is, if you delete all apps on your phone except one, and you have to leave one social media app behind, what would that be? Question number 3, average week, including weekend, how many minutes or hours do you spend on social media? And then number 4, in the past week of using social media, have you noticed yourself scrolling just continuously? Just like scroll for at least a couple minutes. And going through some like sponsor feeds and recommended videos and whatnot. And then the final question is, in the past few uses of social media, have you tapped or watched sponsored video or posts? Okay, about half of you have voted, so we'll maybe wait another minute. Okay, we're up to 70%. All right, if you could wrap up, I think we're close to 90% voted. And then all adults here could participate too. Okay, just two more. Okay. Okay, I'll end right here. All right, oh, let me share the results. So if you want to see the results, Instagram by far, close to 90% of us, everybody here, uses Instagram, followed by YouTube is number 2. Yeah, I guess Instagram is one app that you don't want to delete. And then in terms of average time spent on social media per week, seems to be like 2 to 5 hours is about a third of you have said that. I guess vast majority is 1+ hours. That's pretty much almost everybody. And then you have gone through like just scrolling, 90% of you have done that. And you about half of you have clicked on one of these sponsored ads. All right, great, thank you. We'll definitely talk about these stats during the presentation. All right, I'll hand it off to Amy and Ella now.
Hi. Those of you who have participated in our past events know that all of our GSS series have culminated in a final challenge as a touchstone to your learnings in the 4 weeks.
This time, our challenge is going to be called From Villain to Hero, and we want you to use what you have learned to make the best use of social media for yourself and for the world, to suppress the villain and to promote the hero.
You will have 5 prompts to choose from, and you will make a pitch to present your idea or solution. Choose the ones that excite and energize you. We will group you based on your preference with 2 to 4 teammates, and you'll find out about that at the end of the session.
And you will work consistently for the 3 weeks until our final session, when you will present and winners will be chosen, and there will be prizes for sure. So remember that in order to be eligible for the prize, your team has to meet some weekly check-ins, and more details will be following on that.
Please see Slack and the chat for a document describing the 5 prompts that you can choose from, and fill out the Google form attached to the top left corner with which option interests you the most right now. You can view the specifics of the weekly check-ins as well through the top right link on the document that we just shared.
And Amy and I, we're just going to be here to support you through this project and make sure that you feel that you have everything you need to complete it to the best of your ability. So if you have any questions or if we can do anything for you, just feel free to reach out to us.
Take a minute to check out the challenges now and fill out the Google form. And when you're done, you can, I don't know, put a reaction in the chat, or just let us know.
So we're going to take about 1 more minute for everyone to fill out the form. Right now we have about 31 responses, so almost everyone, and then we'll move on to Sam. We're going to group you all during this session, so it's really important that you fill this out now so that we can put you in a group that you'd really like to participate in.
Okay, so it looks like most of you have finished filling the form out. So we will hand it back to Sam for his presentation.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Amy and Ella. right, let me share my screen. A second. All right, can you see my screen? You all see my screen? Yes. Okay. See, okay. Try to move this video out of the way. All right. All right. Hello, everyone. I think most of you know, I've seen most of you before in our other global seminar series, and we do also have students from Ms. Porter School. So I am a director of Institute for Technology Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Ms. Porter School. I teach classes like digital marketing, which like involves a lot of social media. And also I'm currently a student at Columbia doing EdTech, and also have a startup company in EdTech. And social media is a very important piece, a component to what I'm doing. So I'm very excited to share my story, and also so I guess my perspective of social media and its impact in business, especially. I looked at the poll, and I actually asked this question. I asked the similar questions in my class, Introduction to Technology Innovation Entrepreneurship class. And a lot of the students say, well, Facebook is for all people. And I noticed that 3 people checked that they are using Facebook, and that must be 3 of the adults in the room have checked that box. So I got rid of my Facebook. I try to I guess be with the younger crowd. So I'll share my Instagram. I don't use it as much, but for the purpose of this session, I think it would be helpful to share that. All right, so let me start off by sharing, what actually happens in 1 minute online. So it's a pretty interesting video. All right, so within our 1 minute, I mean, a lot of things have happened already, right? Just according to all the statistics that you saw. So I'd actually like to begin with a quick story on how really Facebook came about, or these other social media. So you guys all know Google, right? Do you guys know when Google was founded? Anyone know? You use chat box to put information in there. It's definitely considered one of the sort of innovative companies in the world, right? Well, Google was founded, I think, 1998 or so. So it's been a little more than 20 years, and they've really grown, right? If you look at the data, I mean, there are 2.4 million searches happening through Google, the search box, right? And Google is #1 search engine in the world. Do you guys all know what #2 search engine in the world happens to be? Anyone guess? Anyone? #2 search engine in the world? You could just type it into the chat box. Or you're all hesitant, or is that maybe you are all using Google for most of your academic work, which is typically the case. #2 search engine in the world is actually YouTube. So, and Google owns YouTube. So Google actually owns #1 and #2 search engine in the world. And so I think the key thing to note here is sort of like how Google actually makes money, right? Because they have that one search bar, right? And you type in, what you're trying to, what you're looking for, and how do they monetize off of that? So maybe we'll just like really talk about how television, like commercials, right? How that works. So at the top here, you have a typical average viewer of NFL football, American football, and that's like somewhere in their 30s or 40s, male. And so if someone's watching a football game, what kind of commercials would you be displaying? Right? Versus, let's say there's a I don't know, 8-year-old girl watching educational like content, something that's, let's say, Saturday morning, when you are not in school, you're watching one of these cartoons or educational shows that typically like run Saturday mornings. And so if you're running an ad at the top, and this is a commercial that was pretty big in Super Bowl, a car ad, right? Someone in their 30s, 40s, male, again, looking at like watching football game, might be interested in buying a sports car, right? So you have a commercial there. And then maybe, young girl interested in, building like a, house, right? And so that would be like the more appropriate commercial, right? So fast forward, and just looking at Google, and if you, for example, put in SAT prep, then you get these search results with these ads here, right? Anytime you see ads, it's kind of subtle, right? Google doesn't, and these things don't really jump out at you. But typically on search results, like the first 4 or up to 4 results could be ad. So the key thing here is intent. When I'm putting in SAT prep, or when I'm putting in plumbers near me, what is my intent? My intent is to study SAT in this case, or if I'm searching for a plumber near me, maybe my sink broke and I'm looking for a plumber. So there's intent there to do something, right? And so that's a perfect placement for advertisers, right? And so, and these type of ads, you also see them on banners, right? You saw one of the banner ads while I was playing a YouTube video. I'm currently based in Korea. That's why you saw an ad in Korea. And so this is how Google really makes money. And to the tune of, in the past quarter, meaning the past 3 months, just on advertisements, they made $46 billion, right? That's a huge, huge amount, right? And so you might think, oh yeah, Google's like super innovative company. They are like at the forefront of like innovation and all of that. But to me, the flip side of that is they are just a very clever advertising company that knows how to, monetize off of what people are looking for and searching for online. So when you search, most of you use Google because it's very accurate. When you're searching for things on Google versus Bing or other search engines, Yahoo or other search engines, you probably get more accurate results. And so that's their technology. But at the end of the day, they make most of their revenue from advertisements. So then, I talked about intent, but what if, there's a platform that could actually know your intent before you even search for it, right? Oh, I hope that you guys all sort of watched the Social Dilemma, the movie, and the movie sort of details what it does, right? What a company like Facebook does, and what they could do is they could actually predict or even influence your behavior. You might not have intent to, let's say, buy shoes, right? Running shoes, but because maybe you're like going through ads and you're seeing some like inspirational athletes, videos. You're seeing people, logging their, miles that they ran in the past week. Those things do motivate you, right? So subconsciously, as you scroll through, when you are seeing these things, you might want to buy a running shoes but then when you first started, you had no intention to do that. So that's what is sort of, got into. And Facebook is really good at that. And so for those of you who don't know, just in case, Facebook acquired both Instagram at a very, very big discount. I think they acquired Instagram for, I believe it was like $1 or $2 billion. And then WhatsApp, which was more expensive, about $19 billion. So Facebook owns these three apps that pretty much about a third of the world is using right now. So 2.8 billion users. And if you consider that these three apps are blocked in China with over a billion people, I mean, you're talking about close to half of the world who has at least some access to internet, having access to Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. And so using that model, they have done $86 billion in revenue in the past year. If you look at just the size and the scale, the global internet users, last year, 4.5 billion, and Facebook is sort of by itself. Because if you look at number 1, number 2, and number 4 here, actually up to number 5, they're owned by Facebook. And so, and you have like Google here and Chinese companies with their large internet user base sort of dominate this space. So how does Facebook really make money, right? Because you don't pay to use Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp. So how does it make money? And why is that important to know? So I don't know if you've seen this congressional hearing. So let me just show a quick clip.
You said back then that Facebook would always be free. Is that still your objective?
Senator, yes.
Well, if so, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see. That's great.
So Zuckerberg was invited to Congress as a part of a congressional hearing, and I think that with the elections, mailing, and all of the things that the Facebook has gone through, and whether you're a politician or whether you're a business person, like it is very important to know how social media works. You don't necessarily have to be like wanting to get into computer science and like very interested in technology. I think this involves everyone. And if you look back into like elections, it's especially true. And so like what these platforms can do, they could actually predict what kind of emotions tend to trigger you, right? I think this is a clip from a screenshot from the Social Dilemma movie, and through that, and I asked this question to everybody with the poll earlier. Have you gone through like where you're just scrolling, right? And what you're doing is you're actually paying Facebook through like, or actually not, you're paying. Advertisers are paying to Facebook through you. So like cost per click, this is like average cost. When you are clicking on one of these sponsored ads, again, Facebook includes Instagram and WhatsApp. So most of you would be Instagram. Every time you click on something, an advertiser is giving Facebook close to $1. And think about the number of users, right? With 2.8 billion users, if everybody just clicks on one ad per day, that's a significant amount of money, right? $2.8 billion per day if you just were to click on one ad. And the second one is cost per 1,000 impressions. That means like you're just scrolling and you're not tapping or watching videos. You're just scrolling and you sort of like just see it through, right? For every 1,000 of those, Facebook makes about $7.19. And every time you like something, Facebook makes over $1. If you download something, right? There's an ad on for games, for example, when you download that game, that number is much higher. So this is how Facebook makes money. And just looking at their quarterly report, again, in the past year, they made $85 billion. And if you look at this line right here, advertising makes up pretty much like 99% of their revenue. So they are, I mean, they're social media, but they are an advertising, or they're a platform that hosts advertisers. And so, and they are also a public company, right? So they are, they cater to shareholders, and because they've gotten so much, they have been growing so fast, so quickly, and they're able to monetize. They have become a huge company, close to $800 billion company. And if you look at their shares going from $38 all the way up to close to 300 today, that's a significant growth. So the question is, like, who's Facebook's real user or customer? Is it you, right? Because you use Instagram. So would you be the customer for Facebook? It's really not. It's really the advertisers are the customers, because they're the ones who are paying, Facebook to get you to do something, right? So. All right, so Facebook has this ad platform, and that's pretty user-friendly for obvious reasons, right? They want more advertisers to advertise. And so I'm going to do a quick demo of what this looks like. And so it's pretty easy. So I'm going to create an ad. And please pay attention, because this is exactly what you'll be doing. So I have a Facebook account. I have like a couple of companies, that I have. So let me just click on one of these things. And I'm going to get started with automated ads here. All right, so, and this is an app that I've created to connect students with mentors and consultants and schools. So do I want people to come to my business? No. Do I have a website? Yes. Do people buy products on your website? No. Booking appointments? No. Get leads? No. So Facebook asks like these series of questions, of course, using artificial intelligence to know and recommend ads for you, right? Where is your audience located? Let me just do US for now. And I sort of, you could choose interests here using like tags. And so let me skip that. And it's building ad version here. Right. So here's like one ad version. They have my credit card on file. I could set daily budget here. How much do I want to spend on every day? Which platform do I want to use? Like Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, all of that. Duration, like audience and all of that. So I'm going to click on audience right here. And so here's audience detail. And I'm going to click on edit. So once I get here, you could see that like right now, I have United States and outside of US 25 miles, and that's going to reach about 230 million people, according to this, right here, right? So what if I want to, let's say it's an app that connects like young people to mentors. So maybe I want to reduce the age to maybe mid-20s. You see like the potential reach has gone down a little bit, right? I could type in more locations. Let's say I want to also do, let's say Canada. And I could do the entire country, or I could choose a specific city, right? So I could do that. And then I could also do detailed targeting. And this is where I want you to practice. I created a tutorial video for you to look at. So here I could look at education level of like people who I want to target my ad to, right? If I'm connecting students with mentors, college students, for example, I would definitely want to connect with those in college or in grad school, for example, in high school, yes, right? Also has like financial, so income. Do I want to target people who make the most money, depending on zip code and whatnot? There are also life events, people who celebrate like, birthdays to anniversaries and things like that, new jobs. Another thing is under like relationship status. So there's many things that you could select, again, like interest. So what's happening here is that for every likes, every video, everything that you do, everyone you follow, the system, right, the Facebook is learning that from you. So every time you use Instagram, every time you like a post, you follow something, you buy something, the machine learns. And um, and based on that, it's able to gather this data. And as an advertiser, so as a company, like for me, that is my dream, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to play car ad for everyone watching football, because not everybody is, not everybody watching football is able to buy a car, right? But if I could target a specific income group with people maybe who's gotten like a new job or moved somewhere or thinking about doing something, I could like really target, and they could also have hobbies, right? Maybe their hobbies is to collect cars. I don't know. Like, so you like, as an advertiser, that is like a perfect scenario for me to really know each user. So flip the script, and so you right now are um, like Facebook, Instagram are sort of using all the things that you do on the platform to get to know you better, so that they could provide the most perfect ad on your app. So that is really the intent of what these social media platforms are doing. So what you are going to do next, this is a short activity, is we have students from all over the world. Right now, you see on the right here, we have students from China, Colombia, Dominican Republic, put in alphabetical order. And I don't know if you have Facebook account. And if you don't, that is fine. If you do, you could use what I used here. But if you don't, you could still use, let's see. So what you are going to do is you are all going to be in a group, and 10 different groups. And you are going to look at the advertiser info on the left here, right? And you are going to create an advertisement. Right now, you are going to be in the shoes of these companies who want to use or leverage all the data that Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp offers to place that perfect ad. So you are actually going to be the real customer of Facebook. So you have two Google Slides to work on. So first here, depending on the group, please write your name up here. Read through the advertiser info. And then here you're doing like a screenshot. You could get photos off of the web. You could add your own hashtag, a little description of like what it might go, and indicate whether you're putting this on Facebook versus Instagram. Second page, you need to come up with justification. Like, what is the reasoning behind you actually, selecting this group, right? On the right side, you have edit audience. So exactly what you saw, there was like gender, there's age range, location, and the detailed targeting info. If you don't have Facebook account, on the very first page, I copy and pasted or took screenshots of detailed targeting here. And on the subcategories, you could look at this video. It's like a tutorial video that you could look at, and it will show you subcategories of these things. So you don't have to use your Facebook account to do this, but if you want to, you can. And to do that, all you have to do is just Google search Facebook ad, and that would be the very first thing that will show up. So Sophie, do we have the groups ready? The groupings ready?
Yes, the groupings are ready. So before they head off though, Sam, Amy and Ella wanted to ask them to fill out that form again. So I don't know if this is the right moment to have them post the form in the chat before we send them out into breakout groups and you give them their kind of final assignment, or?
Sure. Some groups might finish early, so they might have time to work on that. So if you want to, Amy and Ella, if you want to do that now, that is fine with me.
Yeah, so we're just going to send this form out again, and apologies for the inconvenience. You can only pick one option, so just pick your most favorite option. Thanks.
Okay, in terms of the directions, before we put you in breakout rooms, and I believe breakout rooms are created with like different students from different countries in one group, right?
Correct.
The key thing here is for you to really have an empathy. So please do ask questions. If you're putting an ad, let's say SAT prep, for example, in US, that's different than putting it in, I don't know, I'm in Korea, so putting it in Korea, which and very different versus like putting in South Africa, right? So knowing your target audience, so you can select multiple demographics. You could select different groups, right? You don't need to have just one campaign. You could do multiple campaigns. So think about your target audience. And so there are different topics here, and group 1 would be assigned to this specific ad. Group 2 will be assigned to this one. So they're all different. All 10 are different categories, and they all have links that you could click to see what they're about. So like here is an example where it's a boutique hotel, and post-pandemic, people are going to travel, right? So maybe you want to think about placing an ad on Instagram as people think about traveling, right? So who would you want to target in this case, right? So that's so your group number will be parallel with the breakout room number. Okay. Right. If you have any questions, please let me know. You should be all able to edit this document, and I'll post this into the chat box right now. Okay.
And Sam, how much time are they going to have? And should they select somebody who keeps track of time, and then somebody who is going to be, each group will have 2 minutes, right? At the end of this to share?
Yes, to do a short presentation, yes, just to share what you
So so each group will need to select somebody who will be the person who will share with our larger group when we return.
Okay. All right, so these are the steps here. You'll be assigned in a group. You write your names on the slides, and then read through the ad campaign goal, create the Facebook or Instagram ad, select target audience and details, and then write justification for why you came up with it, and then choose one person who could present to the class after we're back in the main room. Maybe we'll give them about 15 minutes or so. Or 20 minutes. Okay.
Great. Should I go ahead and open the room?
Yeah, please.
Open the
please
rooms.
do.
All right.
And feel free to use Slack to ask questions. I guess I could go here just to see if everybody's on it. Okay.
Wait, let me just see, because Nelson, I didn't put you in a group because
You don't have to put me in a group. Don't
I
worry.
didn't think so.
I don't want to ruin any groups.
Not that we thought you'd ruin. I didn't think you'd ruin the group.
Well, I do.
We just want the girls to actually have to talk to each other.
I think they'll be much better without me in the group. Thank you.
Cool.
This is fascinating, though. Very interesting.
I know, I like this, Sam. Very cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so you can see them already
Starting to work.
Yeah, so we could keep track of what they're doing here. Now paste this into Slack as well, just in case.
Did I put Kat Hachiguchi in a group? I might have done that by mistake. She's an adult. There was another woman who joined too, who I'm not sure who she is, and she might be an adult as well, who I put in a group. What was her name?
Can you broadcast a message to all and say if there's any adults in rooms to come back to the main room, or you want to let them?
I'm going to do that right now.
Come back to the Facebook room. That's what it was what we got, right?
Right.
Sam, that was an unnecessary dig you took at us, by the way.
I know he's like the old people in the space.
Yeah, the
Not
three
only that, but
people- yeah.
he deactivated his own Facebook account. He's just rubbing it in.
I know, Nelson.
Nelson, could I take a guess? Were you the one who checked Reddit?
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
didn't actually. No,
Okay.
no, I'm not that sophisticated.
Yeah, there was one person who checked Reddit. So
As the one beam that they would keep,
yeah. Oh well, no. Like that they actually use it.
that they use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that Instagram figure is
Yeah.
Well,
it's much.
it's not
higher than I
surprising, right? We
expected.
know that, but it's so dominant in this
Yeah.
age group.
42 out of 47 participants have answered that they use Instagram at least once a week.
And it was by far the one that they would keep if they had to get rid of everything
Yeah.
except one.
Yeah, which is quite staggering because we do have students from all over the world. So,
And Sophie, did you have good turnout for the watch parties of the Social Dilemma?
Well, so I made a mistake and I didn't realize that in order to join a watch party, you have to have a Netflix account. And my whole reason to hold the watch parties was for people who didn't have Netflix accounts. So I ended up in the last second, like in a panic on Thursday morning, 7 a.m. our time, whatever time it was in Japan. All of the students from Japan are, emailing me saying, I'm trying to get on this thing and it's not letting me. And so that like took me about 3 minutes. I was like, uh-oh, what the hell am I going to do? And I realized that I could just play it via Zoom. Like I just would, so that's what I did.
Share
And
your
I did
screen
it.
and play it. Yeah.
Exactly. I only ran into a problem.
okay, welcome back, everyone. Sophie, do you want me to need it, or do you want to just call out group numbers and?
Sure.
I'll just
You do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we don't have too much time, and we do want to hear from each group. So if you could have one person from each group just talk about what you created, and then just share. You have a couple minutes to do it. So group 8, could I get someone? Just please unmute yourself. We get multiple students to do it too, but please go ahead. Group 8. All right, so Madison, Lucy, Lola, Nora, Maria, Maria, one of you. And all other groups, please choose one person to present. Go ahead.
So for our advertisement, we tried to get people to see what it was like for workers who are receiving minimum wage. And this was a little bit tricky because it's kind of like we wanted to show the people actually like in like the fast food joints, or the people having like a hard time like in a nursing home or something like that. But they're mostly happy pictures of people on the internet. It's possible to do like a drawing of something of some sort, but we tried our best. And so first we have like reasons to strike, and that maybe that's more geared to get people to organize like a strike on their own, not as much like to donate to the organization, which is also a good thing. And then we also have other people striking, and that kind of shows like why it's important to strike, because we could like that's how you get like the minimum wage raised, so that's important. And then some of this really cool interactive map. I don't know if you can see it now, but I think it was moving or something. But that's cool, but because it shows like the entire country and how many people are receiving minimum wage, which is a lot, and people don't necessarily like to see that. And then lastly, have the picture of a healthcare worker, or I think we were trying to do a caregiver who was stressed because we couldn't find one of those, just because they're working like like long hours, and because we're receiving minimum wage, they're like struggling to make ends meet. So that was the goal there. It requires a bit of explanation, but we're working on that. And then for the next slide, we decided to use Instagram. And first of all, our age range was about 18 to 40. And I feel like they would care most about raising minimum wage, maybe even a bit older. So we decided to use, I'm sorry. Our countries are USA, Colombia, and Spain. That were the people who are in our group from those countries. And then we also asked other group members, like, what is the oldest you have to be, or the youngest you have to be to work? So the age range depends on the country. So in the United States, you have to be, and Spain, you have to be 16 years or older. In Colombia, you have to be 18 years or older. So that kind of determined our age range. And then finally, we decided to choose Instagram because it is more commonly used by our age range. And we were also wondering, we would probably send out like a sponsored post for Fight for 15 because more people will see it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Moving on to group 7. Sorry, and please keep it to 2 minutes if you can, because we don't have too much time remaining. Thank you. So group 7.
Okay,
Yes, I'm actually going to set a timer. I want to make sure that we can get through everybody. So I will give the sign when 2 minutes is over. Okay.
Okay, so our group was focused on sending out an advertisement to try and get people to audition to become like the next boy band group. So this combined with K-pop and the Universal Music Group. So this is the ad that we created, and it basically just like shows like basically the dream life. So it makes people want to like audition, and then like the caption that we put is also very like, this could be you, make it possible, you can do it, which would make people feel like they want to try. I mean, if you want to go to the next slide. Okay, so we decided that we wanted to go on Instagram because our age range was younger men. So Instagram is used by younger people, and we thought that on Instagram that would better match the age range that we wanted to target, which would help push our ad to the demographic that we were looking at. And then we list our countries, and I said that like one thing that we may change between countries is changing the part of the ad to show a specific location in the country that represents fame. So like, for example, in the United States, there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame that has the stars on the ground. And then in other countries, there might be other like monuments or things that represent fame to them that would be good to include in the advertisement. And we said that we wanted to focus on all countries because they were drawing globally for the auditions.
Sounds great. Thank you. Group 6, you may go next.
So we had this brand, which is basically promises 100% transparency, no exploitation, no animal testing. And it's basically all about how it's cruelty-free, vegan, and safe for the planet and safe for humans, but also high quality product. And so these were some of the hashtags that we came up with as a group, depending on our country and geographical location. And then on the next slide, these were just some different ideas that we had to kind of like how we would appeal to audiences based on our country, our different countries. And then also why we chose Instagram, because it's targeting younger people and just from like our experiences, we found that younger people kind of put more effort towards or importance towards buying cleaner products, just for the environment and for animals and for the world. So this is what we came up with.
All right, great, thank you. Group 5.
So basically we just had like a fashion designer that merges like art with her designs. And we put our hashtags in like all of the different languages from our countries, to just make it more diverse. And on the next slide, that's also how we were gonna reach like all of the different countries that we had in our demographic. And we also chose an Instagram ad because our age range was younger, and that was the targeted audience. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Group 4.
So we had the Black Youth Project, and the goal was to get more people to take action. So the photos we used are from the Black Youth Project website, and we just had a little description that they need your help to share, donate, and learn. And we used 2 hashtags. We used repost because we thought that that might pop up on a lot of people's feeds. Then the next slide. We were putting it for all genders because a lot of the Black Youth Project's job is diversity. Age we have 13 to 30 because we were looking to target a younger audience. Locations USA, Japan, and Spain. And we have further down more specific areas in those locations. And we chose those places because our group was discussing how those places have more racial diversity, specifically more people in the Black community. And we wanted to focus the ad to people who have hobbies towards activism or a focus on social justice or people willing to make a change. We chose to do Instagram because it could reach more young people and get more attention there.
Okay, great, thank you. Give me 1 second. I think group 3 asked to refresh this slide because they updated, so should automatically update, but just in case, I'll do that. Okay. All right, group 3.
So we had the Finer Cookie Company, and we realized that it wasn't really like based around worldwide views. It was mostly just for the Canada and US. So in our hashtags, we decided to add a bunch of different holidays and things celebrated in all different countries. And so right now they only ship to Canada and the US, but we figure like looking towards a more worldwide view would benefit more. And so if we could find a way to add that into the company, it would be better. And then the next slide. And the gender is all age range 15 to 65 because everyone loves cookies and sweets. So you can't really do that. So yeah, for the locations I said originally it was Canada and USA. And then special packages towards holidays celebrated in USA, Japan, Colombia, Spain, and Kenya. And we figured like changing it to worldwide would kind of help people in every single country instead of just those 2. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Group 2.
Our group had this hotel called the Samara in Bali, Indonesia, and we made a little Facebook ad. As you could see, they focus on their website on their like COVID cleaning protocols. And since they have private villas and a more secluded location, we thought that we could focus on like comfort and safety for the travelers who are ready to travel during the pandemic, since it's like one of the safer ways to go on vacation at this hotel. And the hashtags are just like generic travel hashtags that could change based on your location for translation. And then our next page, we did all gender 20 to 50s because we thought that, I don't know, not too many young people would go to this hotel by themselves. And it's also like a family place. And we could show advertisements before or during specific holiday seasons. And like prepare for the warmer climate, if like depending on where country you're coming from is. And we chose Facebook because of the appeal for older generations that might not be on Instagram.
Great, thank you. And finally, group one.
So we had the Miss Porter School summer programs, and so for our advertisement, we have some photos from the school website, and for the hashtags, we included some keywords that they use in the mission statement, as well as some other words in other languages to try to appeal to a more diverse community. I apologize if my internet is lagging a little bit. So I think that's pretty much it for the ad. And then moving on to this part of it. So for Facebook or Instagram selection, we would do both, but maybe more to Facebook, because I feel that we would have to target both the parents and the guardians as well as the students. But I feel that sometimes at this age range, the parents tend to initiate signing up for these programs. So maybe go for Facebook. And so that's also why the gender is all, but maybe focus it towards women. And then the age ranges is for students and parents and guardians. And then locations would be the US and then wherever else Porter students are from, just to help us narrow the target audience. So we have the USA, basically North America, because it's proximate to Farmington. And then for changing based on location, we would probably just include translations in the local language, but still keep the English on there, because in order to participate in these programs, the students need to know English, but maybe the guardians don't. So I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Sophie and Leslie, should we hire?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great, right?
Come work for us at Porter's Global. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap up, how was it to be on the other side of, you all consume and use Instagram for most of you. And so how was the experience of being on the other side and trying to be advertiser and trying to think of ways to get you to, click or watch their ads? And you can put it in the chat box just to share if you want to share how we felt, or you could unmute yourself. And again, this is like how like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, other things that the majority of the things that you're using are sort of doing. It's free, but not really free, and their real target customers are not necessarily you. And they're actually, it's really for advertisers, right? And so what I see, what's different than TV is like when you're watching football game, right? Or watching cartoon shows on Saturday morning, you're all watching same thing. So you're getting same commercial, but because these devices, smartphones that you carry are like, they're all personalized. So you're getting what you're seeing while you're scrolling would be very different than what your friend right next to you sees, because your preferences, your what you like, who you follow, they may be all different. So this is just an example of my latest, sort of ad that I saw on Facebook, something with artificial intelligence, because I've been looking into artificial intelligence, recently. So, these systems know exactly, what you like and what you are doing. And I'll just briefly talk about these things because we're running out of time. But there are other social media things out there too. I don't know if you heard of the Reddit and what's happened with the Wall Street bets. So these are individuals, like social media users, who sort of went against the Wall Street hedge funds and tried to sort of wage a war like recently. And this just has happened in the past month. And one of the main stock was like GameStop. It's I don't want to get I'm not going to get too much business like today, but like a lot of the hedge funds, expected this to go down a lot. And so all these, like, especially young people, especially during the pandemic, when they're home and they they have money to invest, they put a lot of money into GameStops to go against these hedge funds who sort of bet that the stock will go down. So you can see like the meteoric, rise from like $17 beginning of January to actually went up close to, or actually over $480 just in like a span of like a few days. And so that's like an example of power of social media. And you probably have heard a lot of examples with the election, but in terms of business side of things, there's a lot of things too. How many of you have heard of Clubhouse? This is like a new fad or new trend that's happening. It's invite only social media. It's all based on audio. So you're not like seeing faces or posts. It's all based on audio. And I believe a lot of the especially like entertainers or people like Elon Musk and they're on this platform too, and this is gaining a lot of traction. And so this is like a screenshot of what the Clubhouse looks like. It's all based on audio, and then there's also things like MeWe, which is it's like really anonymous, right? They're not sharing data, they're not putting ads. So there are platforms that are like sort of starting here and there, but then they're not getting a lot of traction. So, ultimately at the end of the day, if you're targeting, like, if you're like running a business, typically for-profit businesses, you're running your business for shareholders. And for shareholders, what they want to do is they want to make sure that your company makes money, right? So, and that's why, these type of smaller companies haven't really been able to scale much yet. But who knows? Maybe you will all come up with your own social media platform, and have all of us use your platform down the road. But I just want to say, there are a lot of other imitations or startups that are trying to do what Facebook is doing without sharing all that data. But as an advertiser, as like businesses, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, you're a school, you're an organization, you're a club, you see why it's such a powerful tool. You could really target your audience that you want to target for what you want to sell, right? And you don't necessarily have to sell products, right? Just to get people to sign petition. Again, whether it's like the politics, right? There are a lot of things that you could use social media to get people to do. Again, going back to intent. Anyway, so I know my time's up, and thank you for listening, and I'll hand it off to Amy and Ella.
Thank you so much, Sam. I really enjoyed your presentation, and all the projects that you guys have just created was amazing. It was very eye-opening for me. And Ella and I have the groupings ready for you guys, but before we let you know what group you belong to, we want to introduce a little data collection activity. Since we're learning about social media, one of the most important things is to reflect on our own relationships with these platforms. For this reason, we will collect your screen time data for the next 3 weeks, anonymously, of course, to protect privacy. You will start reporting your stats from the next session via a Google form that we will send out. Right now, please make sure that you have turned on screen time tracking on your phone. If you don't know how, check the chat for some tutorials, and these resources will also be shared via Slack.
Yep, and so I've also just shared in the chat the link to your groupings. And if you don't see yourself, please just let us know and we'll add you to a group. And don't forget about the weekly check-ins. Kind of a schedule to keep you on track is linked in the main document that we shared with you on the top right-hand corner. So if you don't know where to start, definitely look at that first. And we've set up Slack groups for you all to start talking to each other. So you should see an invite to join groups in your Slack accounts. And if you don't have an account, your name is italicized and bolded on the grouping sheet. So please just double check that, you can talk with your group and you'll be good to go. So thank you.
And just so you know, The first place team will get a prize worthing up to $250 US. The second and third place team will get up to $150 and $50 US respectively. It's surely worth some effort for you guys over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely, Amy and Ella. Thank you so much. And again, we thank you all for getting up early or staying up late. Please look for an email from Sophie somewhere in your inbox Monday night, or I guess that would be Tuesday morning in some parts of the world. There'll be some resources. Slack will be active, and please reach out to any of us for questions. Sophie, back to you.
And just, I want to thank you all for being present and engaging in our first session. And I think we have 4 guest speakers who will be joining us for the next session next Saturday, and it'll be a different format than it was today, where there'll be a roundtable discussion, and your questions will be driving that discussion. So it's something to really look forward to hear from some experts in the field, as well as one of our 12th grade students who has found great success in building out a brand and her own blog on social media will also be joining us. So I hope you have a wonderful week and have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and we will see you next Saturday. And good luck as you launch into your group projects.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Amy and Ella, there are a couple of messages here that said who said they're not in a group. So
Yeah, they didn't fill out the form, so I'm just keeping a list of who's
Okay.
not in one, and then I'll add them.
And can we try the links for a moment? Sophie and I both can't go on the links on this doc.
Oh, and
We're clicking, right? I don't, right, Sophie? So no one's
Yeah,
told.
the Google Form to Choose challenge and the pitch